Hey there. So today I'm going to be doing something new. I'm going to be making a tier list basically covering the last 20 demos that I played, the horror demos. I'm going to be doing this moving forward. When I hit a 20, it's going to go on its own playlist. I'm going to summarize it all with a tier list. Basically, watch the tier list video so you don't have to watch the horror demo video so you don't have to play the game. We're just summarizing everything after a summary. So, just to start, I don't think these are going to be in any specific order. We have the obviously S, A, B, C, D typical tier list. I'm using Photopea. This is what I used to make all the thumbnails, not paying for Photoshop. We'll start with AAU Black Site. Let me just transform this bad boy. So, I'm not even on the right. It is rasterized. Amateur hour over here. All right. So we got Spooky Demo, Spooky Time, AAU Black Site. I actually really enjoyed this game. Um, Aesthetically, it was very pretty. I did find that there was a chunk of time that you had to do in order to get to the horror aspect. The beginning portion wasn't very spooky, but the gunplay was fun. It was enjoyable. Like there were a lot of gun options. You might need a not a beefier computer, but I did find that I was lagging a bit at the time. I had to reduce my graphic settings a bit, but I am using like a 2070, so I'm sure a lot of people are a bit higher up there. You don't have to worry about that. But once the spooky stuff did happen, it was enjoyable. I did want to come back and take a look at this. I know the game did release. I think from the list of demos that were to be released, this is the only one that has come out. Actually, oh no, there was another one. It was Dreadfields. That one came out as well. Either way, this one for me was A. It was very fun. I would totally play this again. It was just an enjoyable experience. The next one, Zitten. Oh, it's gonna look like that. I gotta work with those layers. Ah, whatever. Fuck the layers. So Zitten was, god damn, double amateur hour. Zitten was also a very enjoyable experience. It had that whole Blair Witch found footage camera aesthetic, which I adore. I'm a big fan of horror movies. It had its spook values. There was some portions that were less spooky than others, but it did play very well. It looked nice. It was an enjoyable experience. I would be curious to see where the full game goes because the demo was a very obviously short portion. It's a demo, duh. But um, this is a game I would be very interested to see where it goes. I'm going to drop that under A for now. Everything is subject to change. Do not take this as gospel. I'm going to do a review at the end to make sure that everything is in the right spot. Next up, Who Am I Remedy? Transform this a bad boy. So Who Am I Remedy was again the found footage aesthetic, which I really enjoyed. This was spooky. For now, I'm going to put this under B just because it felt like one of those games that were too dark to see anything. I had to raise the gamma in order to actually see what was going on around me. If you watch the footage like halfway through, I had then you can kind of see what was going on. Before that, it was just like darkness. In some cases, that's quite fun. It's fun having that spooky, I can't see anything around me, and all I can see with is the flashlight that I'm using. But in this scenario, I feel like it did kind of take away. It made it difficult. That's not to say I did not have fun. I actually liked Who Am I Remedy quite a bit, but just for that darkness aspect, Bad Boy's going to go under B. B for Bad Boy. Then up, Undertaker. Undertaker was not necessarily a horror. It was like a Souls-like Gothic type game, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one. You know what? I'm putting this under S just because it was super for S. Uh, Gameplay mechanics so fun. I love the art style. I like that you can take a bunch of the fights stealth-wise, or you could bust out your pistol, you could bust out your rifle. It was very fun, and it wasn't just go around kill these things. Um, there were different aspects, like you grab the skull, you grab the crown, you put it together, you go to the tomb, and then you get something out of it, like a new item. It was it was unique. It was actually quite fun. I added this to my wish list, and I do want to play that again. So this is staying under S. I don't know if I'm going to switch that around later when I come back and look at these. That's staying as an S. Next up, Umigari. Umigari. Oh, dog. I want Umigari. Umigari. I'll just say the name one more time. Umigari was also a very enjoyable experience. I liked the fishing of the game. It was like you could go around and just fish, and that would be fun in itself. But the trickling in of the horror elements, where like I don't know if it was like folklore, uh, like Japanese folklore. I'm not sure, but the fish that look like people, and there's just creepy aspects that sort of come trickling in, especially that first fish that you're trying to catch, and then you realize like it sounds like a person, it has human teeth, it kind of looks like a person. It was very like not startling, but unnerving, unsettling, unnerving, unsettled. I was unsettled when I saw it. It was enjoyable. I believe, actually no, that game's out. I don't know if the game's out. It might be out, it might not be out. I'm not going to check because I'm going to be sitting here like typing and trying to confirm that. But it was fun. If it is out, I might get that. If it isn't, it's definitely on my wish list. It was a very fun experience. Next up, Tower Stalker. Oh, this is going to get worse and worse as there's more on it. Tower Stalker. What the heck? Okay, there we go. Tower Stalker was more than one layer selected? No, I don't. There we go. Tower Stalker, for the third time, was also quite fun. I like the aesthetic of the game, the art style. It was a fun experience. It did feel spooky. It wasn't necessarily something I was terrified or like scared to play, but it was enjoyable. Um, Gameplay wise, like yeah, you go through the forest, you get to the tower, and then the guy chases you, and that's kind of where the demo ends. But the points that he did show up, if I remember correctly, I did get sort of like a oh, because he kind of showed up at that window, and it was startling. Also, when he started chasing you, it was startling. It was fun. I did like that. I would recommend it. I do want to see where that game goes, so I believe I added that to my wish list. Now that I am looking at this, I know I like Zitzen, but I'm moving that down. I might move that back up. I'll leave it like that for now. Next up, they are here. Let's free transform that bad boy. Okay, they are here. Um, I'm on the edge of like a B and C. You know what? I'm gonna put it on the teeter edge right there. We can teeter edge because I'm making this list and you can't stop me. So I'm gonna put that right there because I do like Aliens. I did like that experience. I think I just want to see more because I'm curious where they're gonna go with this game. The demo is basically you go to a farm. The family's like, "Hey, these experiences are happening. I got abducted when I was younger." Oh no. And then you go out and you get abducted. So it's like, are you then on the alien ship? What happens? I'm just curious where this story can go. It wasn't really portrayed well in the demo. I feel like when I'm playing a demo, I want to be able to kind of get an idea of what this game's going to be and how it's going to play out. Not how it's going to play out, because that implies you know kind of like the ending. I don't want to know the ending, of course. I just want to be able to get a feeling of what I'm walking into. So for now, I'm going to put that on B and C, moving it down to C actually. I made a decision. Next one, Skin Stapler, the Skin Stapler. platform. All right, for the skin stapler, this it's either an A or an S. I really enjoyed it. It was such a unique experience. It was entertaining. It was not necessarily janky, but it had that old PSX jank to it. It was fun. I like the story. I like the fact that you kind of go through these different characters running into the skin stapler and those little mini games. It was just like a fun story driven experience. Not as super story driven, but you didn't really have freedom to do other things. You were kind of, I guess, story driven. Yeah, I'm a goof. So this for me was an S. I would love to play this again. I did find out that this publisher or developer has a lot of other games that are similar. I would love to go through those. There are some other demos, so I feel like I'm probably going to make it more demos for those videos, just to kind of see those as well, see if they kind of follow the same theme of goofy horror, fun gameplay. This is S for me. S for super. Next up, the Pale Mimic. So the Pale Mimic shrink what? No, that was Skin Stapler. These layers. Why am I struggling? There we go. The Pale Mimic, uh, it's going under B. It was very linear. I didn't realize that the calendar portion would basically jump me a few days. That's how the story goes. It's like you don't play day by day. It's kind of like you run out of food and you have to go out and get more. But I wanted to play more. I wanted to see more of the game rather than go out, catch a deer, go back, put the meat in the cabinet, and then if you want, throw a ball for Rocky. It was fun. It looked nice. I would say overall enjoyable, but it wasn't like I definitely need to see this and come back to it. I'm super excited like these other ones. Now that I say that, AAU. No, I'm gonna leave that under A. I did like the horror portion towards the end of the demo, so I'm gonna leave that there. Thalassophobia. Am I on the right layer this time? Yes, I am. So Thalassophobia, I'm gonna put it's either a C or a D. It might have been fun with, you know what, I'm gonna leave it under C because I did feel fear diving under the water, not being able to see anything. But then the fish or that creature, the sea serpent creature, basically janked out and got stuck on the boat, and that just ruined it. You know what, you're going under D, yeah. The glitchiness or jankiness of the game ruined it for me. Also at the end where he kind of came out of the water, got held on the side of the boat and just went dead. I don't know. It just was too glitchy to be super enjoyable. I think it needs to be worked on more. I did have a enjoyable experience. It was I didn't hate it like other one of the other games that is probably going to go under D. I'm going to put it like right there probably below D. I don't even want to see it. I do not have a good time. You know what? We'll get there when I get there. Moving forward, Silent Wreckage. Silent Wreckage, not even going to discuss it. This is straight D. Straight whoa. Always on the wrong layer. D. D for disappointed. I I I like what am I going to say about this? It did not feel fun. I liked kind of going through the boat, but it wasn't scary really. And then all of a sudden you can travel back in time and walk through it and you're in your scuba outfit. It wasn't fun. It was more goofy than fun. And it wasn't even goofy in a good way like the skin stapler. It was goofy like they're trying to do it, but they didn't do it. That's all I can say about it. Next, Ghostbuster Village. Again, I'm on the wrong layer. Now that I've come across Ghostbuster Village, I'm realizing that I mixed up Ghostbuster Village and Zitten. Because Ghostbuster Village was that Blair Witch looking one that I really liked. Okay, Ghostbuster Village is going under A. Zitten I'm going to leave under B because I do remember that being semi-enjoyable. You know what? I'm going to be brave. Zitten's going under C. I want to see more from that. Now that I remember the game, I want to see more from that. It wasn't terrible. C for me is just like needs improvement. Is it a C? You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put you over there. Put you in the middle. You might be the first solid middle choice of a B and C. Feed it. Oh, this is getting worse and worse. It's gonna get to the point where you'll be able to see it. All right, so feed it for me is gonna be under C. I don't even have to think about that. The gameplay loop was literally walk the trail, find the log, put the log in the fire. You go slightly off trail, you're borked. They chase you, they eat you, you restart. I played it alone. It is a co-op game. I played it alone just because when you play horror games with friends, you can laugh. It makes it less spooky. So I played this alone just to try to get the full spook. And there is some like walking in the forest with your flashlight and you see something like startling, but for the most part, I did not really feel spooked. I kind of felt like, hey, I know what I have to do. I'm just gonna do it. I want to get through this demo. It did show there was like a shotgun there, but it wasn't available in the demo. There was like fast traveling, I think, between sites, but that wasn't available in the demo. So literally, the only thing you can do was grab wood, put it in fire. That's why it's under C, cause C for cause I need to see more. I need to see more before this can be somewhere higher. I think with friends it might be fun if this is expanded on like the gameplay, which on the Steam page it did say uh, there's more coming. It's just not in the demo. But if you're releasing a demo, it feels like you need to provide a certain experience to entice these people to come back. I was not enticed to come back to feed it. It's not on a wish list. It's not on a radar. I might see it in the future just scrolling through other games and be like, oh yeah, that one. I don't really have ambition to seek it out. Next up, Dream Eater. Dream Eater was also a co-op game that I played as a single player experience. I went into it blind. I don't think there was a tutorial, and I was kind of running around not knowing what to do. It did look nice. The creature was spooky, but I had no idea what I was doing. It felt like the type of experience that you play with people who know what they're doing and they teach you, and it's just like a passing of knowledge, and then you know what you're doing, and then here you go, you play the game. But I think I remember from the demo, the only thing I found was basically cassettes and a vending machine where you put drinks into, and then I still didn't know what would happen. It was just sort of like, okay, I guess I need to find drinks now, and I need to find cassettes and do something with it. It was just B for be better. Yeah, be better. Dreadfields. Dreadfields for me, I know I loved it. Like I really like Dreadfields. I like occult horror, and this felt like it was gonna be sort of culty, culty horror. I'm gonna put it under A. You know what? For now, it's an essay, just because I did love it. It was superb, but it needs additional content. I just realized there's a line there. I have no idea what layer that's from. Can I like bear with me? Let's see if I can. No, not that one. You know what? There's gonna be a line there now. I'm not dealing with that. Next up is Block. Block was a very story-driven linear experience. It gave no room to do anything outside of the story, which a lot of these demos are like, so I'm not really going to ding it for points there because I think in not most cases, but some to most cases playing a horror game, I kind of want it to be linear. Like I don't want that freedom because then you start playing it and you see everything behind the curtain almost. Um, where it makes it less spooky. Like the more you're in the world, the less frightening it is. I kind of like linear experiences when it comes to horror games. I will put this under B because the story was spooky. It was fun. When I was traveling through the apartment, I did sort of have this feeling of uneasiness of like what's going to pop around the corner, what's going to happen. It was enjoyable. I did like that experience. The ending where yourself is in front of you and you're running, that was kind of weird because like it didn't really indicate that that was a different person. I thought it was just someone running away from me until I realized, oh, that's me. And then I have to make sure that they don't run into those creatures that were standing like at the end of the game. I had to basically like go up to a wall, press D or A to move us individually. It was odd, um, enjoyable, but I think this does fall under the be better category. We got Restless Rights. Um, Restless Rights. I thought it was going to be like a Dread Fields, and I was excited. I was excited to do the churchy stuff. You walk around, you do the candles, you clean the cobwebs, you put the flowers, bada boom, bada bing. I'm being helpful, but it didn't feel spooky in any way. And then when I realized there was like 40 candles and 40 flowers, it's not enjoyable. They should have toned that down a bit or done it in a way where it's easier to access. Like I felt like having to run back and forth and then go make coffee to give yourself stamina was it was too much. You should have been able to like carry the flower pot or basket to the entrance and like placed it, or there was one at the entrance. Like if you gave me a shorter run time, it would have been better. It's just it feels like it's added delay of the gameplay to make it spookier or longer, but it didn't really add anything. I didn't it was not enjoyable. At first I was having fun and then I realized that was happening and that just dropped it for me. Next up, Project Mist. The only game that I had to make a rant video for rather than oh what the heck? Again, on the wrong layer. Amateur hour. Amateur hour. The only video I had to make a rant response for because it's an asset flip. The other game they made in 2023, I don't think that was an asset flip, but basically they released the game early access, has had no updates for 2 years. It says on the Steam page, and then they release another game, which is a very clear asset flip. That it feels like the intention is release in early access, make money, and then drop it. Maybe do a few updates to make it feel like that the game's coming out, and then because of that, more people buy, and it's like, oh, they're working on the game, and then they'll drop it. Looking through the assets, you can see in the video towards the end, it was like an hour and 15 minutes, I think, the video. You can skip to an hour and seven because that's where the rant starts. The gameplay is nothing special. Just watch the rant because it goes into like I went to the Unity store and found all these assets. I feel because it was a demo, I obviously didn't see all the other creatures, all the other weapons. They're most likely all assets, like asset flips, like pulled from Unity and dropped in the game with minor to no changes. I did contemplate going back to this game and making a video literally just trying to find every asset that's from the Unity store. If you want me to do that, sure. I guess comment and let me know if you want me to do that. I'm not looking forward to doing that, but it would be kind of funny. So that's up to you. This game is down here. I'm going to put that right there. Playback 94. Ooh, here's another one. So Playback 94. It was another one of those experiences where I was going in hopeful because of what it looked like on the Steam page, but then realizing that it wasn't entertaining and the only spooky part was one jump scare. I think they were heavily focusing on audio to scare you, and it felt like a loop of the same audio, which is not scary. Also, all the invisible walls. There were places where it looked like you can do something, like jump from one roof to another, or there's glass on the floor. I'm like, oh, this is going to make noise. It didn't. The glass didn't make noise. I couldn't jump from that part to that part. I couldn't go over things that looked like you could go over, which is I don't think it's a super minor gripe, but if you're giving me a very visible place to move and I can't move that way, it ruins the immersive experience. It completely shatters. Is it the glass ceiling? No, not the glass ceiling. It shatters the experience. I'm going to stick with that. This is going in D. You know what? I'll put it on the half of garbage and I don't want to say garbage. You know what? Project Mist is garbage. I hated that. But this is on the line. No, that's rough. Like, I'm comparing it to the other ones in D, and Thalassophobia wasn't that bad. Like Silent Wreckage and Playback 94. You know what? Thalassophobia, I'm moving up. You've been upgraded. Move you to C. Playback 94 and Silent Wreckage are very D for don't demo. Next up, Incurable. Can't even tell what it is at this point. Incurable was an entertaining experience. I think it's a C for me just because the demo was limited. Of course, it's a demo. I expect it to be limited, but it was another game that kind of had me going, where are you going from here? And in in the case of Incurable, it wasn't an enjoyable question. It wasn't a question where I was like, where are you going from here? I want to see more. It was, where are you going from here? You hear that difference? Acting. I'm not acting. But it's like I had a bit of fun playing it. It's just not something that I really care to go back to. Like if I saw the game came out, I'd be like, eh, like that's my reaction. I wouldn't want to go back to it. Looking at this list, I want to see if there's anything. Undertaker S, yeah, hell yeah. Skin Stapler S, hell yeah. Dreadfields, this is a personal one. I'm gonna leave that under SA because it's almost an S, but take into account some other people, you might not enjoy it as much as I did. So I'm gonna leave that under SA. AAU Black Site, I'm gonna leave that under A because gunplay was fun, the horror elements were scary, and I enjoyed that, so that's good. Umigari, A, yeah. Tower Stalker, A, yeah. Ghostbuster Village, yep. Found footage, Blair Witch style, spooky stuff. I'm all in. I'm all in. B, Who Am I Remedy? Yeah, yeah. It was spooky. It had a good spooky feeling, but yeah, I'm gonna leave that under B. I wanted more from this. Hell Mimic again. I wanted more. Dream Eater. Maybe as a co-op experience, it might go up. I'm almost contemplating moving this down to C. You know what? I'm gonna do a move. Dream Eater's going down to C. Block, 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 block. It's just one block. That was, yeah, it was good. I'll leave block as a B. B for block. Zitten, you know what? You're getting upgraded. You're going from BC to B. Because I did enjoy going through that. Towards the end, there were some glitchy aspects of like, why isn't that rock? What was it? The rock isn't. The textures weren't coming in, but I did enjoy that, and it's my list. So get out of here. Well, don't get out of here. Watch the rest of this. For C, we got They Are Here. I wanted to know, see more. I didn't know where this was going. I didn't know what they could make a full game out of this for. But I am curious. So that's going to stand under C. Maybe I'm not going to update this list in the future, but that's going to stand under C. Feed It, yeah, C. There's not much content. I don't really care to check back in on the future. Yeah, C. Restless Rights, I wish this was better. I do wish this was better, but the gameplay didn't do it for me. It didn't keep me in. I don't. That's it. Thalassophobia, it was janky and glitchy. There were some moments of like darkness and it's scary, but the glitchiness didn't do it for me. Incurable, um, I wanted to see more. The gameplay loop was basically just get away from this one person and you're running in circles and just looking at things, but it wasn't super scary, really. I'm gonna leave it under C. Dream Eater, we already moved that down. Playback, dump. I did not like it. I was frustrated playing this game. That's all I'm gonna say. Dump. Silent Wreckage, dump. It was goofy. It wasn't really scary. Yeah, no. This one, Project Mist. What I'm gonna do with you is I didn't really have to highlight you again. I'm gonna put you even lower because I despised you. Right there. That's Project Mist. Right there. If you made Project Mist and you see this, do better. Like, what are you doing? Don't asset flip and just put the same exact asset. Like, there's some parts you tried to make adjustments. Great, huzzah. Don't do it. You have a team, it seems, right? Like, make a game that is not just going to be a dead early access game that you're like milking money from people. You know what? I'm not gonna rant. That video is the rant video. I'm gonna leave this there. I think this is yeah, this is good standing. Dreadfields is the only one that I'm leaving on the in betweener, but yeah, I'm happy with this. What I am gonna do is put part one. What the heck? Oh, I'm on the vertical type tool. Part one. Part one because like I said, I'm gonna play other demos and make a new playlist for those. So this is the first 20. Uh, Here's to the next 20. Ugh, that was that was embarrassing. Okay, thanks for watching. Uh, I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun making these. If there's any demos that you want me to try, please let me know. I'm more than happy to try them. If there's any games that you'd recommend, again, more than happy to try them. That's about it for me. That's my list. This is a tier list. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.